You're listening to TurkishSoccer.com's Turkish Football Podcast. Hello, everyone. My name is Ahmet Turgut. Welcome to a brand new edition of Turkish Football Podcast. In this podcast, we'll talk about what happened in the midweek for Turkish teams in the European competition. We'll recap what happened in the week 13, and we'll preview the week 14 coming up, especially the derby match on Monday between Fenerbahçe and Galatasaray coming up. All those and more will be happening on this podcast. Well, let's start with going back to this past Tuesday, where Galatasaray they host Union SG at home after winning back-to-back 3 matches in the Champions League and not losing any match at home in 33 matches. And Union SG shocked Galatasaray and Galatasaray fans in Istanbul on Tuesday. It was a shocking score. And that's just when Galatasaray needed this 3-point to at least secure the top 8. Now their top 8 quest is in trouble as we go into the last 3 weekends in the Champions League, the matches. So not good for Galatasaray at all. I know Galatasaray was missing a lot of players, especially Osman. When Osman does not play for Galatasaray, seems like they lose their matches. We saw that in the Week 13 match. I'll come to that because Galatasaray did not look good any good against Gençlerbirliğ in the Week 13 match. This was the must-win at home, and I will always say this: when you're playing in the European competitions, when you have home match, you need to win that home match. That did not happen, so I know a lot of Galatasaray fans are not happy, and they were in the 11th place, at least shooting for the top 8. With this loss against Union SG, they fell down to 14th place with 9 points. Now, here's the thing. Galatasaray next 3 matches in the Champions League. The first one will be against Atletico Madrid, who has 9 points also. And after that, Monaco, they have 6 points. The last match against Manchester City, they're with 10 points. So things are, they probably will make it in the top 24, top 16. But I think they need to win their rest of the matches. Losing this match at home for Galatasaray really upset a lot of Galatasaray fans, and we'll see what happens. And now, as you know, we'll talk about that later on, the derby match coming up this coming Monday. Also, today on Thursday, there were 2 matches for Turkish teams, one for Fenerbahçe, who plays in the Europa League, and Samsunspor, who is in first place in Conference League. Fenerbahçe played first today on Thursday at home. They were losing 1-0. French Varos team scored first, but Talisca made it 1-1. Right now, Fenerbahçe sits in the 20th place with 8 points. They have 3 more matches coming up. First one against Brand with 8 points, Aston Villa with 12 points, and FC SB team, who has only 3 points. So Fenerbahçe has to do the same thing what Galatasaray needs to do. In the Conference League, the top team in this league, Samsunspor today, went to Iceland. They had a very tough time, cold weather, but somehow they were winning the match 2-1, and then Breja Oblak tied the match. The score ended with 2-2. Now, Samsunspor still in first place with 10 points, and there are other teams that is very close with 10 points. Strasbourg with 10 points. Another team, Arda Turan, that coaches Shakhtar Donetsk, they're in the 4th place with 9 points. So the remaining matches for Samsunspor, their first match will be against AEK Athens, and the second match will be against Mainz. Athens has 7 points, and Mainz has 9 points. Conference League, top team, Samsunspor still with in the first place, and they have 10 points. They have 2 remaining matches. So overall, 2 draw and 1 loss for the Turkish teams. Not good at all. Not a good week for the Turkish teams in the European competitions. We'll see what happens. In recap in the Week 13, as you know, Week 13 started on Saturday. It ended on Monday. It ended with the very nice match between Başakşehir and Trabzonspor, probably the most entertaining match of the Week 13. There were 7 goals scored, and Trabzonspor won this match 4-3 in Başakşehir Stadium. And also notable matches that I'm going to talk about. Galatasaray somehow won this match against Gençlerbirliğ at home. I talked about before. They did not look good against Gençlerbirliğ. Somehow they won this match 3-2. Gençlerbirliğ scored the first goal, and we saw Galatasaray struggling against the relegation zone team Gençlerbirliğ and winning very slightly with the score of 3-2. And another team is losing blood at home, losing points. Beşiktaş lost tied with Samsunspor 1-1 while they were ahead 1-0, and then Samsunspor scored right after Beşiktaş scored. Under Sergen Yalçın, with 12 games in his arm, under his arm, he only won 5 matches. Things are not looking good for Beşiktaş. As far as the Fenerbahçe, it was another good comeback for Fenerbahçe. They beat Rizespor in Rize after going down 2-0. They beat Rizespor 5-2. With all these scores ended, there were a total of 29 goals scored in Week 13, and the gap on top is 1 point. Galatasaray with 32, Fenerbahçe with 31, Trabzonspor with 28, Samsunspor with 24, Göztepe with 23, Beşiktaş with 21, and Gaziantep with 22 points. Actually, they changed. Gaziantep will be in the 7th place, and Gaziantep will be in the 6th place. Beşiktaş is in the 7th place. The bottom of the barrel, Fatih Karagümrük, Eyüpspor, Kayserispor. Now, coming to Week 14. Week 14, there's going to be a very crucial weekend coming up. Week 14 will start tomorrow on Friday with one match. Relegation zone teams, danger zone teams, I should call. Kocaelispor with 15 points. Gençlerbirliğ with 11 points. Saturday, there are 4 matches. The most important match there is between Trabzonspor and Konyaspor. Trabzonspor, who has 28 points. If they win this match at home against Konyaspor, they will collect 3 points. They will even up their points with Fenerbahçe before this derby match. They will reach to 31 points. Other matches on Saturday, Kasımpaşa will be at home against Başakşehir. Both team has 13 points. Another good game. Gaziantep will host Eyüpspor, and Gaziantep with 22 points, and Eyüpspor with 9 points. Rizespor will host Kayserispor. Rizespor with 14 points, Kayserispor with 9 points. On Sunday, there's only 2 matches on Sunday. Antalya will be at home against Göztepe, and should be a very good match. And Fatih Karagümrük will host Beşiktaş. Fatih Karagümrük is the last team in the standings in the Turkish Super Lig. Beşiktaş with 21, but I could guarantee you this. All the trouble that Beşiktaş and Sergen Yalçın going with the Beşiktaş team. Beşiktaş better win this match. Otherwise, I think this will be end for Sergen Yalçın as a coach in Beşiktaş team. On Monday, let's talk about the derby match and also Samsunspor Alanya match. Samsunspor just played their matches on Thursday, on today in the European Conference League, and Fenerbahçe played their match in the Europa League, and they both tied and collected 1 point in European competitions. But Galatasaray lost their match in the Champions League match. So it is the derby match between Fenerbahçe and Galatasaray will be happening on Monday. And as I said before, Galatasaray is missing Osman. We might see him. He might not start, but he might be ready to play, come in as a substitute. Icardi will probably play, but Icardi we saw against Union SG did not look good at all, even though he scored a goal in the Week 13 match. And he's with 7 goals right now in the goal scoring racket. So Fenerbahçe will be at home. They will have the 12th man behind them. Galatasaray will miss a lot of players, injury players, also suspension players. Most likely, Galatasaray will probably be, again, I said, Osman. We might not see him starting lineup, Osman. So that's a big, huge loss for them. And also all these African players that play in the Turkish Super League, they will go to African Cup later on after January. And Coach Okan Buruk said something about that while we're paying all the big money for these players, they're going to their national team and they're getting hurt playing for their national team. Now, Okan Buruk, you should have thought about that when you transferred these African players. I mean, these things happen. And traveling between Turkey and African countries is not that easy. So when you do the planning and the planning for the future, you should have thought of this first when you did the transfers, not in the middle of the Week 14. After Week 13, you need to talk about this. I think it's pretty late to give your opinion when your players, most important players, are injured. And I don't think he did a good job on that one. I think the players has to go to their national team. They have to play. But the thing is, when you transfer players from Africa, you have to plan and think about these before you transfer big names like that. So on Monday, Fenerbahçe will host Galatasaray. If Galatasaray loses this match, Fenerbahçe wins, Fenerbahçe will grab the first place. Another match will be happening on Monday. Samsunspor, as I said, will host Alanya. So, will the first place team change at the end of Week 14, or Galatasaray will keep the first place? We'll find out. This is Turkish Football Podcast. My name is Ahmet Bob Turgut. Listen to my podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. Visit me on X at Turkish Soccer, also Facebook Turkish Soccer, Turkish Football, also on Instagram. Please tell your friends about Turkish Football Podcast. My name is Ahmet Bob Turgut. See you next time. Bye-bye.